What was the rape that was depicted in that movie? Was that accurate?
It was that and not getting permission. It was
No, I mean like
again.
the way you would see prisoners, other prisoners getting raped. You know, in terms of
No,
retaliation and stuff like that. No.
no.
So when you were in prison, you didn't see a whole bunch of that.
Pressure. Pressure is 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 rape. Okay, pressure. You can, if I, if there's a young kid in the bathroom and six or five, if I pay five African American guys to go in and tell this kid, hey, you're ours, blah, 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 and make sure that that thing's hard. And then this kid is, whoa, wait a minute. And I walk in and I say, hey, that's mine. Come on, get over here. And I bring this kid over here. If that kid walks from that group to me, then he's mine. Do you understand? Because he just said, I don't want that. I'll take this.
Okay.
You know. And me and Tyrone and a couple other people, we would get those kids before that happened, and we say, look, you're going to have a lot of problems in this joint. Now, either you can pay us or go with them. And out here, they would call that extortion. Okay, in prison, it's protection.
Well, you actually got addicted to heroin while you were
Enjoy.
locked up.
I think, I don't think I was never not addicted to heroin.
Okay.
You know, I used heroin every chance I got, and whether I was in jail, whether I was in the county, and when I got when you're on parole, you oh God, you always walk around with a stash. Do you understand? Always, you always got a stash hidden in very unsearchable places.
They call it boofing.
Yeah, okay, so
You put things up your ass.
that's
Basically.
it. You know what I mean? It's a keister stash. That's it. You
Right.
know? And so you got arrested. Okay, you knew you had something to kick with. You know, and so I was always I was always ready. So, but I think my last habit I actually kicked in Soledad, 1968.
Well, in Soledad, there was a riot.
Yeah.
That happened.
That was the changing spot in my life.
Well, you ended up stabbing a guard.
No,
No, you didn't.
It was alleged that I
Alleged.
threw a rock, and Lieutenant Gibbons got hit in the head, and Ray Pacheco hit socked a free person gas chamber. Henry Quijada kicked a coach gas chamber, rock gas chamber. So we were sitting in the hole and kind of feeling that we're done.
So
You
you,
know.
you were facing the death penalty potentially.
The three of us, yeah. And I remember saying, God, if you're there, me, Ray, and Henry will be all right. If you're not, we're fucked. You know, just, and it was like, and I remember seeing this movie. You probably won't, but it was with the East Side Kids. It was like a gang back in New York that they were all wannabe tough guys, and the toughest guy in the neighborhood got sent up the river, and he was going to the chair, and the rest of the gang was saying, yeah, well, he'll tell them, come and get me, coppers, and he'll spit in their eyes, you know what I mean, and then Pat O'Brien had to come tell him, no, he died like a little bitch, you know, he's screaming and yelling and shit his pants, you know, so they were like heartbroken.
Well, what was it like? I mean, you were how old at the time?
23.
23 years
24,
old.
yeah.
24 years old, facing the death penalty.
Yeah.
How do you come to grips with that?
Well, it's kind of like how you do time. You do it.
Just do
And the grips were, I remember asking God to let me die with dignity. Just don't let me pee my pants. Don't let me shit myself. Please don't let me cry and scream. Just let me go and just let me like smile. And it's so funny because I remember thinking like every teacher I've ever had has said, poor attendance, blah, 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 but has great potential. Everybody said great potential, and even parole officers, can do better, and And then everybody, like in school, they thought I was pretty cool and I was tough and all that. And when you're there and you're saying all that shit doesn't matter, you know. And somebody had gotten shit and smeared it on the wall, and they put "God sucks" in a hole. And I'm looking at this, and I'm sitting in this hole, and I remember thinking, this is what my life has come to.
Yeah.
You know, and I was pretty cool. I mean, I walked that yard proud, and I'm gonna die, and I'm staring at something that says "God sucks"
And shit.
and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think for the first time, even if I had a mirror, I couldn't make this cool. You understand? Because if you have a mirror, you're like, I'm all right. Fuck it. I got it. Fuck them. They can eat me, but they can't kill me. You know, they can kill me, but they can't eat me. Something, you know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do nothing.
Not this
Nothing.
time.
And I remember saying, if you let me die with dignity, I will say your name every day, and I will do whatever I can for my fellow man. I said that. I thought it was going to be a couple of years. You know what I mean? Then they're going to top me. But good Lord fooled me and gave me the rest of my life.
Right, because the guard didn't testify against you.
Yeah. Well, what it was a DJ reject. They couldn't get any witnesses. You had 2,000 guys on the yard, and your mother did it. Mickey Mouse did it. You know, Pluto was boning Mickey, Minnie Mouse, and they did it. You know, it's like just all this stupid letter. So the DJ rejected it, and Givens didn't know who did it. You know,
Okay.
so we got to top out, and I
Okay.
did another year. I came out of the hole, and in 1969, August 23rd, I got out of prison, and I'd made this deal, and that's what I've been doing.
Well, I mean, before you got out, that's where you got the tattoo on your chest. Was that in prison or out of prison?
In prison.
In prison.
Yeah, I got that. The hairy Super Jew Ross did this tattoo, and we started it in one prison, and then I got kicked out of there, and we went to Folsom, and then he did a little more in Folsom, and then I went to Soledad. He ended up in Soledad, and we finished it there.
It was done with the guitar string, I guess?
Yeah, E string of a guitar.
Okay.
And it's so funny in prison. You see a lot of guitars with the E string missing, because you use them for tattoo needles.
Okay. I mean, these days people tattoo their bodies like crazy, but back then that was considered pretty out there.
Yeah.
A huge woman on your chest.
Well, you got to this 66, 67. That was when the Chicanismo stuff came. You know, like everybody's getting Aztec warriors. Said, give me a broad. So we got Harry painted this, and Harry passed away, and it was funny. I remember when he passed away, his old girlfriend Jerry called me and was crying and said, he died. Nobody even remembers him. It's like he just died. He overdosed, and damn, and I had just done a big article in International Tattoo magazine, and I talked about him, and this was the most famous tattoo in the world, so they gave me a plaque.